Question, we're dealing with a deck of cards and we're pulling a card and seeing if it's a club or a red card. And at this point we should circle that or, because that or in itself tells us that the fundamental counting principle won't apply here. That is, we have two tasks, that is coming up with a club and coming up with a red card. But we have an or in there, and if we had an and, that is, it aligns with the fundamental counting principle, we would replace that and with a multiplication. With an or, we would put a plus there. So to answer our first question, we would say, well, can we use the fundamental counting principle for this? No, that requires an and so that's where we're at there. Let's just see if we can figure out what the number of possibilities are. So let's just think this through. We're talking about clubs and red cards, so it might be easiest to stop and say, let's split that deck up into 4 areas. So let's say we have hearts, and we have diamonds over here, and we have the clubs, and we have spades. Whoops, that's kind of a crummy spade. Okay, now, so the clubs are over here, and the red cards, well, that would include all of these. And so we can see right off that they are mutually exclusive, which is maybe why we're using an or than an and, because if it was an and there, if they said a club and a red card, well, certainly it would be 0 possibilities because you can't have both. But in this case, what we could do is we could say, well, let's stick with the or, and we could say, well, how many different clubs are there? Well, there's 13 clubs. And how many different red cards are there? Well, it's the hearts, which is 13, and the diamonds, which is 13, so 26 different red cards. And so if we added those together, we come up with 39. So 39 different possibilities of that card being a club or a red card. And that goes a little beyond what we were asked, but bottom line is, no, this isn't a question that could use the fundamental counting principle.